I've known Joey for 35 years.
It's crazy how long it's been.
And around. Galloway broke a tackle. Inside the 30, he might go. Touchdown.
Watch the leadership from Herbstreit. Come in. That's the quarterback that's going to put one on a linebacker right there.
Last year's starting quarterback. Tell me, Kirk, what's the difference in this ball team from last year? The unity is really here. You can obviously see it. And also the big play of Joey Galloway. It's incredible what he can bring to an offense.
These two guys are going to be involved in televising the national championship. We know they are familiar faces to Kirk Herbstreit, Joey Galloway.
Blank. Let a naysayer know.
That is not what I thought.
The professional's right in the middle of his team. USC's moving down. I thought it was going down.
Still running to 4-3. Joey Galloway.
Yeah, Joey! But like that. I mean, do we have?
All right,
is there any way I can block my screen where it's like?
Welcome to Nonstop. It's the official and season show of Kirk Herbstreit and Joey Galloway. Your first stop for all things football, college and pro, every Monday.
All right, welcome to the show, October 13th. Joey, I just want to give you a chance before we start talking some ball to just clear the deck. I get so many people that say, what does Joey have against Peter? What does Joey have against dogs? I'm going to give you a chance to defend yourself. I told him he loves dogs. He loves Peter.
Here's the thing. I love dogs from a distance. I don't have a problem with dogs per se, as long as they don't touch me. Just don't touch me. Don't sniff me. I'm not going to pet you. What makes your team pet random people's dogs? I mean, like,
because the dog's cute. You just want to say hello to it.
Well, what if I had another pet, a squirrel? I don't know, a pig or something. Would you pet it? Oh, here we go. We're starting early.
Oh, he's outside right now.
Oh, he's outside. He's outside.
What makes you not want to be a participant?
I don't understand what makes people want to touch someone else's pet. You know what I mean? Like, again,
if the pet is friendly, you want to pet.
Say I have a pet pig and he's friendly. Would you pet him?
Hold on a second. You're comparing Pete to a pet pig?
Not just Pete. All dogs.
All dogs.
A squirrel, a chipmunk. Say I had a pet mouse. Would you pet him?
Those aren't pets.
No. Hey, listen now.
You have a pet squirrel?
Me personally, no, but I'm guaranteeing you some people do have pet pigs.
Oh yeah, pet pigs.
Would you pet them?
No.
Exactly. So listen, people. I don't have a problem against Pete or dogs in general. I have a problem with dogs touching me or sniffing me, or when I'm eating and your dog is in the restaurant, or like this nonsense. Why does he have to get on you? You know what I mean?
This is Mitch.
Hey, Mitch.
How can you not pet that face?
Here's my question. Where did Mitch just come from?
He was outside.
So he's outside doing who knows what. Now he's on your lap. That's my breakdown. You don't know what he was doing?
Bro, look at his face.
Beautiful. And listen, I like Mitch from this distance. As long as Mitch isn't here touching me, I like Mitch. It's a great dog. It's a good-looking dog. Let me ask you a question. This is an important question. Are you allergic to any foods? You got any food allergies?
I don't think I am allergic to any foods.
I just this year I forgot I'm allergic to nuts. What am I? All these years.
What?
Peanuts, pistachios.
Get out of here.
sunflower seeds, all of that.
What happens if you have nuts? What happens?
I'll get like itchy patches of skin.
You used to chew sunflower seeds.
Oh my gosh, I used to eat so many nuts. And then we need a medical professional as our guest. We need to know, like, what do you do when bees attack your dog? What happens? Like, how do I get over my nut allergies? Like that's the kind of stuff we need to be talking about after a huge college football weekend.
I gave you the chance. I apologize that Joey hates dogs.
No. I like dogs from a distance. Don't touch me. I don't want to pet you. I don't want you sniffing me. I don't want to sniff you.
You remember Megan a long time ago? You liked
Megan. I remember Megan. Megan honestly wasn't that bad. She would just ruin the TV setup, but at least she didn't jump on the couch and like try to be a person next to us. Like you've gone too far. Like Mitch and Pete and the boys, they jump right on your lap. I don't want to do that.
They do. All right, let's get into some ball.
Right,
I don't even know where to start. There's so much. Indiana beating Oregon was a massive win. They did more in 60 minutes for me personally than they'd done the last year and a half. Like that was. I've been waiting for Indiana to have an opportunity to play in a game where they can show this is who we are, and they not only had that opportunity, they demonstrated they're one of the best teams in the country with that win. We could do our top 5 rankings later. We only have an hour. That was obviously a big story over the weekend. I mean, there's a lot of what happened on the field. I think the thing that probably stands out, I flew down to Dallas to call the game with Texas and OU. Huge win for Sark. We can get into that in a second. But the results of Penn State and Northwestern off of the Penn State UCLA game the week before.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State makes the move yesterday and lets James Franklin go. Where were you? Were you surprised? Were you, well, it happened. Or were you, holy cow? I mean, this team was in the semifinal. They're a series away from going to the national title a year ago.
Yeah, amazing where we are. I was sitting on my couch.
Number 1 or what were they, 2, I think?
Yeah. You remember you remember my buddy Snoop? Well, now his son Nate was over here yesterday.
Okay.
You know, these kids got phones now. And I'm sitting on my couch and he's like, he's telling my kids, hey, James Franklin got fired. That's how I found out. He got a notification on his phone. Turns says, hey, James Franklin just got fired. Unfortunately, it's not a surprise. Unfortunately, it is. In the world we live in now, a guy could be in the playoff year before, almost makes it to the national championship, plays for a Big Ten championship, all these things, and get fired the next season. We don't have any patience for any nonsense, partly because social media has no patience for any nonsense. Like us just joking about the dog situation after the show, you know, it's going to be like, people are going to light that thing up. I hate dogs, you know. And so now you lose a couple, dude, they're coming. They're coming to get you. And you get run out. Unfortunately, it's not a surprise. Were you surprised? Did I lose Herbie? Because he's froze. Or I'm froze. Or he lost me. I don't know which one is which. Well, Herbie's probably over there wrestling with the dogs at the moment. But the way this thing is working out now, nobody is safe. I can't quite figure out why we're moving to this mid-season firing people. Why is it like it used to be you would know that people are getting fired at the end of the season? Now we've moved. I'm sure it has something to do with the portal, something to do with recruiting, something to do with the cycle of when the portals open, those kind of things. But now it is people are getting fired in the middle of the year, and we just move on like nothing happened. So when you look at these situations now that are happening, Virginia Tech makes their move. I mean, it is like we're talking about Bill Belichick's job. It's amazing how we're just moving things on. The next thing that I think we were going to get into when Herbie returns here is when you look at, let's go Texas OU. Texas coming off of a loss to Florida where Arch Manning gets sacked 6 times. I talked about their ability to run the ball versus not being able to run the ball. The rest of the team having 15 yards of rush yards outside of the 37 that Arch gave them against Florida. It's going to make that a tough situation.
Hey, how'd you do? I just disappeared. How'd you do, kid?
If you could tell me that one of the dogs caused the shutdown,
it did not.
That would make my day.
No, it did not. But how'd you do when I had to go?
I had moved off of James Franklin and I was rolling right into Texas and OU.
But did you?
I did ask you. Yeah. I did ask you because I did say like it doesn't. Unfortunately, it doesn't surprise me. Did it surprise you?
I think the initial reaction of, oh my gosh, they had to let him go. Definitely there's a, wow, this guy was in the semifinals.
Yeah, there's a wow.
But when I saw how his home fans booed him off the field, when I saw that video surface off of the UCLA game, I just wondered, you said, do you have any Penn State relatives or friends or really diehard Penn State fans?
I know some Penn State fans. It's crazy. I was just talking to Amanda Gifford when I was in studio because she's a Penn Stater, and I was asking her thoughts on was she on board with firing James Franklin? And she's like, no, I am not. I am not on board with that. So she's the one person I did have a chance to ask.
I just think in this day and age, we go one extreme or the other. Like Arch Manning goes from not him saying this, but the outside world saying he's better than Peyton, he's going to be better than Eli, to this guy is the worst quarterback I've ever seen in my life.
Terrible.
People reacting like that.
Yes.
And it's like, teams do that too. They go from they have a big win, this is the best team ever, to then the next week they have a bad loss, this is the worst coach, worst quarterback ever.
Philadelphia Eagles all last season,
worst ever.
Now,
there's never there's an ebb and flow to a season for individuals. There's an ebb and flow to a season for a team.
Yeah.
What if Penn State with James Franklin, they had a big win and they kind of righted the ship, and in a way they go off, and let's say they finished 9-3 or 10-2. Is that the worst? Is that like going 0-12? I mean, I understand what Penn State had to do from an administrative standpoint. I guess I understand how they felt that, it's almost like our fans are storming the gates and they're about to take down the gates. I guess that's how it feels at this current moment. But for you to be willing to let a coach go that's done so much good off of a couple weeks, it just makes me wonder, in this new era of NIL and transfer portal and expectations, and I don't know, is this our new norm? Is this where we're headed?
That's kind of what I was just discussing. How did we get here? How did we get to 5-6 games into a season? It used to be you knew who was going to get fired at the end of seasons.
Yeah.
Is it the portal and when it opens and closes? Is that why we're doing this thing now where there's 5 coaches that have been fired within the first 6 games of the season? Is that what we're trying to get ahead of? Is the portal or the NIL rotation?
Maybe, or maybe just getting in the front line of trying to get that next coach. I think anytime you let a coach go, there has to be more than just what's happened in 2 weeks, right? I mean, like Mike Gundy, maybe there was, for Oklahoma State, maybe there was more going on than starting off, very, very poorly. Maybe it was just he didn't agree with the new world of NIL and the portal, and maybe he didn't adjust. I have no idea what.
And then you got more chefs in the kitchen now, because if I'm writing you $1 million checks to go get Arch Manning, or go get Drew Aller and these guys, I want to have a say. So now you have more chefs in the kitchen. Who knows where this thing is headed?
Yeah. I wonder, like I said, I just wonder if this is going to become, I think it's a case by case thing. I don't think we can just say, just throw it all over. This is how college football is now.
If we weren't on 5 guys, I would say that, but you know what I mean? Like the numbers are climbing. It ain't like, it's just like we're on like 5, 6 people have been let go already. And it's like, is this where we're headed? I hope not.
What do you think of Tiffany's question? With as much money as they get, if they're fired, what do you get? 55 million, I think.
Something like that.
How are coaches incentivized to win? I think when you pull away all the money and all the what gets a lot of the headlines, and you pull open their chest.
Yes.
I still think, maybe I'm naive, I still think coaches are wired to win and compete, and all that money and whatever else is great. But you can't tell me that he wasn't motivated to try to build this program and win games. I think that's a given.
I think we at times lose track of the amount of time and effort and energy and life that these coaches put into it. Life, not just, hey, let me draw up some plays. I'm talking
every breath.
You miss your own kids growing up.
Yep.
And listen, these coaches' wives, they need to be paid off because they are amazing with what they have to do to deal with this. I think people lose track of it because we just see them on game day. We see these guys on Saturdays and Sundays, and we think that's what it is.
Yeah.
That is just that's not even a small percentage of what actually goes into it to get to the Saturday. And so I like the money is one thing, but the amount of effort that goes into trying to win football games and raise men, especially in college when you're babysitting 115 now, 110, whatever it is. I don't think people understand that part of it.
Well,
they want to win.
Joey, and I'll say, in my opinion, James Franklin, I don't know when he's going to coach again. He's going to have a million opportunities. There'll be a lot of people that want him to be a coach. He will land on his feet. I don't know if he's going to take a year or 2 off. I don't even think he probably knows at this stage of the game.
Now that part, I would take a year or 2 off. I mean,
he's got more money than he knows.
If you wrote me a check for $50 million, Herbie, I'm going to go try to find a couple really good golf courses for a year.
Yeah.
And then probably get back in because that's the way these coaches are wired.
Yeah.
It's just in their
I mean, and he could do TV.
I would go golf.
I know you would. He'd be a natural to do TV if he decides to go that route. But anyway, he'll have plenty of opportunities if he decides to ever get back in. I'm sorry, personally. I loved him at Penn State. I thought it was a good fit. I thought it always, he did a lot of incredible things there. It'd be interesting to see where Penn State goes from here.
Yep.
There's already talk out there about, those initial names, Matt Rule, who's at Nebraska, Kurt Cignetti, who's at Indiana. I don't know if those guys would ever even be interested, but those are some of the initial names people are already throwing out. Let's go to the reaction of the games. Indiana 30, Oregon 20 in Autzen Stadium. One of the main reasons I picked Oregon to win that game had nothing to do with not believing in Indiana. It had way more to do with Oregon is almost impossible to beat in Autzen. They're 31-1 in their last 32 games there. Look at the difference between playing Ohio State last year in Autzen and then playing Ohio State at the Rose Bowl on a neutral field. Ohio State blew them out in that neutral field. And obviously Oregon was able to win a close game last year at home against Ohio State. I mean, it's worth 10 points, if not more. And Indiana went in there completely dialed in, completely focused on what it took to be able to go into a tough environment. And they do all the little things like not a lot of penalties, don't really turn the ball over, play good, sound defense at the line of scrimmage. They can run the football. Their quarterback's playing really well. He complements what they're doing offensively. I know there's great wins. There's been some really good wins this year. To me, that's the most impressive win in the country so far in college football.
Wow.
Kudos to Indiana for winning there. And what was your takeaway from watching how they did it? Not just doing it, but how they did it.
In the fourth quarter, when Mendoza throws the pick six, and all of a sudden the score's tied.
Here, that's a great point.
Here it comes.
Okay.
Here it comes.
Yep.
Now we're going to find out what Indiana's made of, because now you're on the road. Now it's late. Now all the emotions, all the energy, that part has spent itself in the first quarter. Now we're just down to playing football. Who can go longer? Who's tougher? Who can make plays when it matters?
Yep.
Pick six, second interception on the season is a pick six to tie it on the road at Oregon. I thought, here we go. Now we're going to find out what they're made of. And they answer. And they go 10 unanswered points to win it 30-20. Now,
they go on a 12-play drive.
Yes.
After that pick six.
Yeah.
And that's when I always talk about the avalanche. Okay, you throw the pick, and now it's going to lead to a 3-and-out.
Now it's going to lead to
a block
more
punt. It's going to be.
Yep.
I mean, it's just it was perfect.
Yes.
And they stood right. That's a great point. They stood right there and responded.
Surratt gets the touchdown catch. I was like, man, I came out of that game much like you. I had respect for Indiana going in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but really, we didn't have anything to sink our teeth into. We didn't have all last season. They played Ohio State. That was it, and they lost that game. So it's like, man, that's an amazing storyline. Coming to this season, the only chance they've seen so far was Illinois. They beat them 63-10, knocked their boots off. And so it's like everyone's waiting on this one. Can you go to Oregon and get a win? And they go to Oregon and not just got a win, but the stuff that happened in the fourth quarter to get that win the way they did, I have a ton of respect for what Indiana. They're for real. And then you look at the rest of their schedule. I know you like to pull these things up and read them off.
Yeah.
So it gets real interesting now when you look at the rest of Indiana's schedule. They have Michigan State, UCLA, which is now an interesting story. Before it's like, UCLA. They got UCLA. They got to go to Maryland. They have Penn State, which
still capable.
Beginning of the season, it was like, hey. Then they got Wisconsin and Purdue. I'm going to guess they're double-digit favorites in every
game they play.
Games, and now they've set themselves up to be able to run the table. And it would be an amazing matchup if we get Indiana and say Ohio State at the end for a Big Ten championship game. It'd be amazing.
Neutral site in Indy.
Absolutely.
That's where it seems to be after their win in Eugene. It feels like that's where you're going. I mean, and interesting in the Big Ten when you start to think about the depth and who potentially is that. Right now, you would think if the season ended, you have Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have interesting teams. You know what USC just did against Michigan at home. They're sitting there at 5-1. You got Nebraska, who had just had a huge win. Dominic Raiola is looking like, or Dylan Raiola is looking like, 5-1. We'll see.
I'm out.
Okay. I'm saying teams that are out there. I'm not necessarily saying they're a team. I'm saying the teams that are out there.
They're out there.
Washington, Damon Williams. They play Michigan this week.
Yep.
They're out there. I'm saying who besides Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon has a shot to be the fourth team if the Big Ten gets 4? Who would that fourth team be?
USC probably isn't getting enough respect right now.
Yep.
But I believe USC plays Notre Dame this week.
They do. on the road.
And there you have it.
And then
This is why I love this stuff.
They go to Lincoln. They got Iowa coming up. They got Oregon.
This is why I love this stuff. And that's part of why I love college football, because you're going to have these moments in seasons. NFL is different. Like every single week, it's like it doesn't matter who you're playing. It's going, you know what I mean? But in college football, it's like, hey, USC's interesting. What do you think of USC? Well, we're going to find out next week.
Yeah.
We found out something about them against Michigan. That was probably the first time I've really watched them from start to finish in a game. And I was very impressed. And now we get to see them play Notre Dame on the road. Same thing that we just talked about with Indiana. A great chance to earn a ton of respect to go on the road in a tough situation against a hard-nosed Notre Dame team that runs the football. They got two outstanding running backs in Price and Love, and they're going, you got to stop them. And that'll be a fun one to watch, and a chance for USC to really enter into this conversation we're having.
And I think if you do look, if Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon end up doing what we think they'll do, and they all three potentially advance into the postseason, I do think it is an interesting discussion, because you always think that the Big Ten is going to get probably at least 4 every year. And I'm just wondering, as we get down into the stretch, the second half of the season, if it's not USC, if it's not Nebraska, is it Washington? I mean, think about Washington has Michigan on the road this week. They have Illinois, they have Wisconsin. If they are a team that thinks they can be worthy of consideration, they got Oregon at the end of the year at home. But it's not necessarily a foregone conclusion that they're going to be able to run the table. So it's the Big Ten this year. They've had back-to-back really good years. And I think when you take away any conferences, kind of the faces, the blue bloods, like in the SEC, if it's Alabama or Georgia or LSU or whoever, in the Big Ten, it's normally Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State and Oregon. You kind of start there, and then you find out where you are. And if you take away Michigan and you potentially take away Penn State, those are two of those faces of the conference.
Yep.
That really hurts from an optics. That really hurts the Big Ten. And
where are you at on Michigan? Are you?
I feel like Michigan right now is reeling a bit. I feel like they're trying to find an identity offensively. And I think coming off a loss against USC, be interesting to see how they respond against Washington. And what's been really surprising is I think a lot of people thought early in the year, Michigan's defense would have to carry the day until the young quarterback and the pieces around him grew up. And I feel like right now the offense is being careful, with Bryce. Yes. I feel like if I'm defending Michigan, I said this when they played Oklahoma week 2, I'm putting, not because of Bryce, but because of really unproven receivers, I'm putting 8 guys up on Bryce, 8 guys up tight on Justice Haynes and Marshall in that run game.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I'm making them prove to me that they can get me out of this defense by going downfield. And until you do, you're going to face 9 guys, not only against the run game, but RPO and quick game. I'm taking away all those easy underneath throws. I'm forcing you to prove to me that you can get the ball over my head. And if you don't do that, you're going to face 8 or 9 guys up within 5 to 7 yards at the line of scrimmage. And I think
that's been the case.
That's what teams are doing. That's what teams are doing to them.
In Michigan, that's what they face. 8 or 9 guys in the box. It's been that. Their defense has been so good that they could feel very comfortable in, hey, listen, if we got to punt it to you, that's fine. We're good.
Till last week. We
just don't want to make any mistakes. We're gonna punt it, you know what I mean? And then you're right, they run into a USC team that could score some points. And so
now you got Damon Williams coming to town.
Washington. Now you have Washington. So this is a chance for both Washington and Michigan to sort of put their hat in the ring for who's going to be maybe that 4th team out of the Big Ten. It's a big weekend for both teams.
A big week. What were your thoughts on what we saw from Texas? kind of backed into a corner, in my opinion, the week before when they went to the Swamp and got physically the game handed to them. Really, I mean, Florida just beat them up at the line of scrimmage, and going back into a rivalry game in a neutral site, I just felt like Texas, their whole season was basically on the line. All this talk about John Mateer, I was focused on Texas is going to take the field angry, really upset, and I think that played out throughout the football game. Their defense, that's the best they've looked all year, regardless of John Mateer and his thumb. I think it was more about Texas and their defense. I thought Trey Wisner, everyone's going to want to talk Arch. To me, it was really more about Trey Wisner and what he brought to that offense to just give them some life. Took a lot of the pressure off of Arch in that pass game. I thought Arch made a couple really big throws. I think as a unit, the collective, I thought Texas backed into a corner, second loss of the year after the Ohio State and then the Florida loss. I just felt like it's now or never for Texas. And man, did they show up, especially defensively. And like I said, Trey Wisner, I think they become a dangerous team. Just, in this world of you go that way or that way. Texas, I feel like you look at their schedule, what they have left. If they play the way they did last week, they'll be tough for anybody left on their schedule to beat them. But that was a desperate football team that took the field and outplayed Oklahoma. It was impressive.
It really was. And I mentioned this a little bit when I was running the show by myself there for about a couple minutes. So I talked about the week before when the rest. Remember, I gave you the trivia question. How many yards do you think the rest of the team had rushing? It was 15.
Yeah.
In this game, Wisner goes 94 yards. It changes the life of your quarterback. It changes the life of your play caller. If your quarterback isn't getting sacked 6 times like he did against Florida and getting pressured the rest of the time, it changes everything you can do in a game offensively. So they were able to run the ball some. Now, all of a sudden, as a play caller, if you can get you 5 yards on a first down, you got to get the 2nd and 5, you get the 3rd and 2. It's different for your quarterback. It's different for your play caller. They're a more physical team. And I said this in the show on College Football Final. As much coach speak as this sounds like, the things that coaches always tell you, if you can win the turnover battle, they turned over Mateer 3 times with 3 interceptions. If you can score on special teams, they did that with the punt return. If you can win the time of possession battle, they won that by like 6-7 minutes. If you can outrush the other team, the percentage, I don't have it in front of me. But you've seen these charts. It's like if you score on special teams, your percentage goes up. If you run the ball, percentage goes up. All
turnover margin. That's right off of Coop's 10-man.
Off.
10 Commandments. That's
can you
right
bring those? Can you get Darren Brown to make us a chart of the 10 Commandments? But it's such coach speak, but it is so true. If you win those things, your percentage is like 90-something%. And that's what Texas did. And you mentioned, you look forward, they got Kentucky next. They go to Mississippi State next. We got tougher than Vandy. Get Theo Vaughn.
That's a tricky one.
Hey, tell Theo Vaughn he has 2 weeks to get the halftime show. Oh no, that game's in Texas.
They got this week. They got to get the halftime show ready. They got LSU this week.
Hey, he's not. He's like Vandy who? LSU's in town.
Hey, dude, they're favored by 2.5.
Who, Vandy?
Vandy's favored by 2.5 over LSU. When was the last time Vandy was favored over a top 10 opponent? Has to be the first time in history.
Has to be. But this is the perfect storm, though, for Vandy, because LSU, I mean, they find ways to win. It ain't pretty.
It ain't pretty right now.
It was supposed to be pretty, but it hadn't been pretty.
Haven't been pretty. Let me hit last thing on Texas OU.
Yep.
Let's not forget, before that game started, OU was number 1 in almost every defensive category. We were talking about Brent Venables it's one of those defenses, one of the best he's ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like Wisner started the game just going up and down the field. They had to like earn that in the second half, like lean on them. Arch it was an uphill battle to get that offense going. And then they kind of had a breakthrough moment. The special teams, the punt return was big, but it took 60 minutes to really, in that second half, get their running game going. If I'm Oklahoma, that's a disappointing loss.
Yeah.
Everything is in front of them. They're 5-1. They go to Columbia, go to South Carolina this week. I'm just going to say this, watching that game and calling that game, Oklahoma they haven't been able to run the ball all year. They still can't run the ball. They've got injuries to their offensive line. I think they're on their third right tackle. They have issues up front. And they have the toughest stretch of games of anybody in the country. So while we all want to talk about Mateer and his thumb, he made 3 horrendous decisions, which he had not been doing the reason you and we had him on our show a couple weeks ago. Yeah. We've been marveling at this guy and his leadership and his playmaking ability. He just threw a couple up there for interceptions.
Absolutely. Terrible decision. He could have had 5 healthy thumbs.
Look at this
and
one.
Those are still interceptions.
They're up 3-0 before the half.
Yes.
And all he has to do is kind of just throw it away. Instead,
yes.
Look, 5 seconds left. He just throws it up, and Malik Muhammad makes another interception.
That has nothing to do with his thumb, though. I keep hearing people like, he wasn't ready his thumb. Those are bad decisions.
Bad decisions.
There's nothing to do. Your thumb could be no surgery at all. That's going to be an interception. And I mentioned before when we talked about them, we had him on. Their schedule, brutal.
I don't want to say impossible, but you knew that this was coming all year. Like South Carolina this week on the road, which by the way, both those teams need to win a game. Yes. South Carolina's 3-3.
Another team.
And they're at home. They're a desperate team. Then after that, Ole Miss, at Tennessee, at Alabama, Missouri, and LSU.
Yes.
I mean, it's by far the toughest schedule.
That's what I was saying earlier, and people are like, you hate Oklahoma. No,
it's a schedule.
I love Oklahoma. I don't love their schedule. That's brutal.
Yeah, and if they don't get the offensive line and the running game figured out, you can't put everything on Mateer and just figure it out, dance around, scramble.
Run around, scramble, the jump pass. It's going to come back to get you.
And Jaden Ott, I mean, I know he's had some injuries, but man alive, him coming over from Cal was supposed to be a huge, as big, if not bigger, than Ben Arbuckle and John Mateer coming from Washington State was, wow, they got Jaden Ott from Cal. Wow, what a pickup. And again, I know he's been injured, but they've got to figure out their running game.
Yep.
Bama, an interesting game. I think I thought Bama could win this game, but I thought at the very least it was going to be a nail biter. It ended up proving to be that. Missouri's a good football team, and you play them there, 3rd straight week, tough games. Let's just have that same discussion with the SEC that we had in the Big Ten. Right now, if we had to figure out, like we did with Theo last week, who's going to get to Atlanta, I got no idea. I mean, you could easily sit there and say A&M and Alabama, maybe it's Ole Miss. I got no idea. But if they get 4 teams, who are their 4 teams? I mean, and it's a very different kind of discussion than what we were having with trying to make sense out of maybe Nebraska, maybe USC. You never know. Maybe, now it's like, who the heck do you keep out? I mean, and they're all going to beat each other up. Who in the world is going to be, who's going to make the postseason from the SEC?
That's the thing about when we talk about the Big Ten, it's like Washington's playing Michigan. Huge one game right there for a team to step into number 4, possibly. When you look at the SEC, in every single week, there's 6 games that matter to the conversation. That's not the same we talk about the other conference. That's why it's so tough when it's like, man, Alabama got a huge win against a really good Missouri football team. The one thing that I think that Alabama would love to do is quit spotting the other team 7 points to begin the game. That's their favorite thing to do. They let the other team score 7 points. But when you look at Alabama, it's like, whoo, they got past Georgia, big win. Oh, they got past Vandy, another big one. Now they get past Missouri.
And, like, now they get the third Saturday in October. Here come the Vols.
Now we got the Vols. It is the gauntlet. And the same thing we just talked about with Oklahoma. It is like, how many weeks can you get up and do this? And that's why it's so hard to try to piece together the SEC and what's going to happen at the end of it. LSU's playing Vandy, which before LSU's going to go beat Vandy and move on, get ready for the week after. Now Vandy's a really good football team.
They're an underdog playing Vandy.
So now they're an underdog playing Vandy. I don't know what you'd like. I still don't know how you'd pick.
By the way, there are 10 teams that have a legit shot still to get to Atlanta. Ole Miss, A&M, Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Tennessee, Texas. Now they're back in this discussion. And you look at their schedule, they're not going away.
Nope.
Missouri, Oklahoma, with that gauntlet they have left, and Vandy. That's 10 teams right now that are sitting there having you could make a case for them. Now they got to stay healthy, and you're gonna have to get to 10 wins. But that's at the halfway point, you still have 10 teams that have a legit shot to get to Atlanta, which is crazy to think the depth that they have in that conference this year.
Crazy and fun. We need it for our jobs, for what we do. When I roll in the studio on Saturdays for my 12-hour shift, and it's just, you just look down the list of games that you get a chance to watch. I mean, it makes my job way easier to survive the 12 hours, because by the end of the night, you're like, I can't even see straight. I can't remember who played at noon. But we have so many really big games now. The SEC is always going to give you about at least a 3-piece. A lot of times it's a 4 or 5, but at least a 3-piece where it's like, oh, can't wait to see this matchup.
Why don't you answer for people, because we're complimenting the SEC, so we must be SEC homers.
Yeah, we must love them.
How about we just played the clip in the tease, me blocking for you in Ohio Stadium when you were running a reverse for a touchdown. How much would we love to just brag on the Big Ten? Like, forget that ESPN has a relationship with, by the way, every conference except the Big Ten with the new contract. But when we had a contract with the Big Ten, we had a contract with ESPN, had a contract with everybody. There was no just the SEC. Right now, currently, ESPN has a contract with the Big 12, the SEC, the ACC, the Athletic. I mean, pretty much every conference. Nothing would make me happier than to be a former Buckeye. My dad was a former Buckeye as a captain. You're not going to meet a more Buckeye guy than me. Joey and Big D used to make fun of me for that forever. Nothing would make me happier to have this same discussion we're having about the Big Ten. And it's just not there right now. Like the days of throw Wisconsin, Michigan State, Purdue, Iowa, what teams that I call your equator teams. It's like there's that line of that team that's 8-4. Everybody above the equator is a legit threat.
Yep.
I just feel like this year the Big Ten doesn't have. Now maybe Washington will become that. Maybe USC is that. Maybe Nebraska is that. Maybe Michigan can reverse course and become that. But I just feel like with Penn State struggling and Michigan not quite being what we thought they could be, and these other teams that I still think Iowa's pretty good. I just don't see the depth in the Big Ten that I would love to see this year. It's
absolutely.
I just don't see it. I want to see it. I want to brag about it.
I want to see it also. And it's not there. It's extremely top heavy. Like when we're talking Big Ten,
you got those 3 teams.
You got 3. You got 3 at the top. USC is going to make an argument to be.
Let's say if they run the table, we'll throw them
in that conversation. It's just not, like you said, it's just not there. Like, you can't make an argument for some of the teams that you see, and it's like, man, I wish Wisconsin was really, heck, Luke Fickell was a good friend of mine. I wish Wisconsin was really
exactly
good. I wish they really were. I would love it if Penn State was good. I hate to see James Franklin get fired.
Michigan State, Wisconsin,
Michigan State,
Purdue,
all these. And I said earlier, I keep coming in here rooting for Nebraska. I keep hanging on. I tapped out. I gave up. I threw in the towel. Sounds like you're still in there a little bit. Sounds like you're still.
I love Matt Rule. I love Raiola.
I love Matt Rule too.
I want him to be good. I want him so badly to be good.
I do too.
I want him to have that big moment. Hey, we got to keep moving here. So we're going to put our top 5 up in a second. Jake and Ty, hold on a second. Before that, I want to ask you about a team that they look good. They remind me of Indiana last year. Just not really tested, but winning games and doing it in an impressive style. What do you make out of the Red Raiders of Texas Tech? They look the part. They keep just blowing people out of the water. But where is that test that makes you go, okay? I mean, they went to Utah and blew the Utes out. That's hard to do. Yes. That got my attention. Mm-hmm. But is Texas Tech, are they a get to the playoff, make a run team? They appear to be, but we just don't have a ton of quality opponents to really say definitively this team's legit. And
I don't know that we're going to see one. I mean,
they play Arizona State, who doesn't have Leavitt, Sam Leavitt.
Yeah, exactly. Oklahoma State,
Kansas State.
At Kansas State.
BYU, they play at home.
BYU, UCF, West Virginia. Now, listen, I enjoy watching Texas Tech. I do. I think the quarterback, Morton, I think he had I don't know if it was an ankle, I don't know what he had.
Yeah.
But he just got hurt. They've been fun to watch. Can't get a feel for them.
It's hard to know. It's hard to know. Love their coach.
Because all you hear about, honestly, is the amount of money that they spent before the season. So and then once that much like Ohio State last year, once the money conversation takes over, and it's like, oh, they spent this, they spent that, that becomes such the narrative that I don't think a lot of people sit down and really break down what they've been. Again, Utah game, great, look terrific.
Yep.
But
we'll see. But they're definitely catching everybody's eye. They look great, but
probably a team that deserves some respect. It'll be interesting in a few weeks to see what the committee does with Texas Tech. But they're sitting at 7, so I don't know that there's much more you could do with them at this point.
Right. Let's do your top 5. I'm going to do my top 5. That's your top 5 right there.
That is.
Has that changed from last week? I think Indiana.
That has changed. Welcome Indiana. Welcome Alabama.
Okay. Ohio State, Miami, you had up there at 1 and 2. A&M 3.
Yeah. Oregon was in there, and then Ole Miss was also on my list. They're right outside.
Yeah.
I don't get terribly worried when a team struggles. Ole Miss had a huge struggle with Washington State over the weekend. But I'm going Ohio State and the Hurricanes. I think those two teams, you could flip them if you wanted and be fine.
Okay.
A&M, still a ton of respect for what they've been able to do. Even though they were in a close one, no big deal.
Yep.
And then Indiana finally, welcome to the party. Went to Oregon, got a huge win, and then Alabama, which we just talked about, which the party doesn't stop for them. Tennessee this week coming up, that'll be a huge game. But getting past Missouri and getting through the last 3 weeks for them,
that was impressive.
For what they've done.
Yeah, that was impressive, and they got a tough one again, like you said, coming up with Tennessee. All right, my top 5 will probably shock you a little bit. Look what I did, and let me tell you why I did that. I've been waiting on Indiana. I have relatives that are IU alums that hate me because I've not given Indiana enough love.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really, I thought they were a good team last year. I just thought they never really got an opportunity to prove it against a good opponent. When they did, they lost against Ohio State and Notre Dame. This year, I was excited to see how they'd play against Illinois. I thought Illinois was a good team. And they blew Illinois out. That caught my attention. But I just knew when they went to Oregon that
see the comment down here?
What's it say?
Kirk is the biggest IU hater in the United States. Go ahead.
That's a good screensaver for where I put Indiana.
Keep rolling. Just keep going.
Yeah, I have them at number 1 in the freaking country, and I hate them. Who was that bozo that said that?
Oh, I didn't.
So anyway, my point was, I think like a lot of people, just thought, wow, Cignetti's doing a good job. They didn't beat one team with above 500 record a year ago. Not one team. And the 2 that they played, they lost. So I just thought it's a cute story. What he's doing there at Indiana is great.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go to Eugene. They did more in 60 minutes to change my mind than they've done the previous year and a half. That is not easy to do. And the way they did it. So when you
Let me ask you one question.
Wait. When you back up Illinois and now going to Oregon, I think I have no problem putting them right now at the number 1 team in the country. It's just being real.
When I see this, though, when I see, like you say, Indiana won.
By the way, look who I have at 5. Do I hate Texas Tech too?
I love it. I love that. Are you saying that if Indiana, Ohio State, neutral field next weekend, Indiana's your pick?
I don't know. I could be. We're probably going to get that.
All right. Just checking.
I think by the time we get to December, it'll be interesting to see how much Ohio State continues to grow.
A lot more happens.
It could be a totally different kind of question. But as we sit here right now, based on what they've accomplished and how they've done it, it's hard for me not to put Indiana at 1. I mean, I was going to put Ohio State at 1, Indiana at 2. And I went back and I just looked and I thought, damn, you got to give them credit. You got to give them credit.
Texas Tech, I like them too, but
Ole Miss pissed me off with what they're just going through the motions last week.
They won.
I know, but
Bama does nothing for you.
No, I could have Bama up there, but it's just for this week. It's just
this week. Okay,
it's this week.
All right.
Bama beats Tennessee. They could, but you got to acknowledge what Texas Tech has done.
I agree.
Meanwhile, A&M's the quietest top 5 team that I've ever seen.
100%.
Nobody is talking about Marcel Reed and A&M.
100%.
And they'll have their big tests coming up ahead of them.
Which is crazy to believe that an SEC team could be top 5 and quiet. You know what I mean? It's like, typically speaking, that's allowed. That is, everybody notices. But they're a really solid football team. That's played some really good football. You're right. Marcel Reed.
Yeah, he's playing great. And I'm a huge Mike Elko fan. If you like old school football and like I bet you they do still inside drill on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet guys are getting lit up in practice.
And getting Casey Concepcion from NC State.
Yeah, they got great receivers now. They got a quarterback. They got two really good backs. They got an offensive line. They're hard to beat. They just feel consistent to me.
They do. I agree with that.
But there's some tough games coming up. By the way, we just want to thank everybody. We started this maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's just kind of grassroots. My sons help us out as far as producing it. I appreciate Jake and Ty, what you guys are doing.
Your sons have been amazing. And like, honestly, I had a chance to talk to Jake and Ty when you're screwing around somewhere and we're just hanging out before the show starts. And Jake tells me, they went down to the fan experience and they ran the 40. And then Ty jumps in. It's like, I think I tweaked something. The laugh that we had when I asked if they're going to do stuff like that, if they care about the show at all, they will videotape it.
Yeah.
So we could break down the 40-yard dash in our street clothes. And
Jake ran a 4.7 in street clothes without stretching. I said, damn, that's pretty good effort.
Yeah, the funny part was like it was a bunch of 12-year-olds and 10-year-olds in there running, and here I come in
That
at
was
25,
unreal.
running a 40.
But
Yeah.
they're kind of doing all the stuff behind the scenes. We really appreciate all the work that they're doing. And it just grows every single week. There's a bunch of people in here right now. We do this every Monday where we start at 11 o'clock Eastern, and it's a chance for Joey and I. We've known each other for about 35 years. Chance for us. I do stuff on Saturdays. Joey's doing stuff with EJ and Matt on Saturdays. We don't get a lot of opportunities to talk with each other, except through texting and BS and a little bit, on our own. So it's fun for us to have this hour to just kind of get caught up. I wish we had more time to be able to do this, but
Best hour ever. Every time
Yeah.
I look up, we're at like 55. It's like, holy crap, we didn't get to so much stuff.
yeah,
We gotta
yeah.
do better.
It's anything yesterday, because I know we like to get into NFL too. One thing that I was reminded about last night, there's two good games tonight. And you played in that league for 18 years,
Yep.
and the ebb and flow of the NFL, it's so different than college. Because college, it's like a quick reaction to what just happened. In the NFL,
Yes.
it's just about kind of weathering the storm and
Yep.
getting healthy and get to November and then start to kind of get consistent and maybe lose a player or two and then pick somebody up. Next thing you know, you have a finished product by December and you start to play,
Amazing.
you know what I mean? You start to play good football like Philly did last
Yeah.
year. And I just think last night was a reminder for me personally about how Kansas City, just when you think, oh, it looks like Kelsey's maybe getting a little older, or maybe this or
Dirt on
that.
the grave. They're done.
It's like
It's
a little bit of a reminder of like, if we're counting teams and who's going to potentially be a team that could make a run, let's not forget about Kansas City. But the game that stood out to me was 49ers and Tampa. Baker Mayfield, brother. I mean, you talk about a guy that 6-7 weeks in is like the MVP of the league. I think 4 of their wins have been on the last possession of what he's been able to do. But
absolutely, last second wins. This is why, honestly, why the NFL is what it is. Coming into a season, you don't know. You literally don't know you have an idea who's going to be good, who's not.
Yeah.
And then you get in and it's like the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield just killing it. The Packers being good. How about Carolina beating Dallas?
That was huge.
It's like 8. That's why it's so fun to watch, because every single week you literally have no idea, which is what at 5 weeks in, there was no undefeated teams. Like, what does that tell you?
Yeah.
You just don't know. One thing we do know, real good friends with Stephen Oling, who is a Jets fan. One thing we do know, the Jets are 0-6.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Doesn't appear to be getting any better. That was an ugly game. We apologize. Where was that game played? Was that in London? We apologize to folks over there that was their taste of American football. They're probably like, I think I'm good. that was not.
You're like, no more.
Yeah, that was not not good. Let me just say this, because I did the Giants Eagles on Thursday night, and if you don't, the Giants with Scatterboo and Dart, they have gone from you don't really want to watch them to, I'm telling you, I left that stadium. We were walking by. There was a guy that was it looked like an usher, had been there for a number of years. I'm guessing 30 or 40. And I said to him, what a night for you guys. Congratulations. And he said, thanks. And I said, when was the last time you remember, this stadium being like this, or going back to the old stadium? And he said, man, it's been he was like maybe decades since there was this kind of juice. It wasn't just beating Philly. It was just the way they did it, the excitement, this youthful energy of Jackson Dart and Scatterboo.
They're only 2 games out.
I know.
I mean, they're only 2 games behind the Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jake and Ty, I see the comment at the bottom. I had to drop chalked in there. Jake and Ty, when we were at the lake house with my other sons, Zach and Chase, they were all like, Dad, you should try to say aura farming, or you should say And I was like, man, I ain't saying any of that stuff. There's no way. And then they went through all these lists. It's not that deep, chalked, all these different comments. I was like, I don't mind chalked. I could actually work into it. You know, with your young boys, chalked?
No idea. What do you got? Help me out. I was just talking to Ty and Jake. I got the iPhone 12. I'm waiting on the new one. I don't know much. What do we got?
I don't either. Chalked means you're done, like history. It's over.
Chalked.
Chalked.
All right. That's a good one to fit in.
That's not a bad. I threw that one out there.
Do you know what 6'7" is? That's another one I don't know.
6'7", 6'7". I don't really. They brought that one up to me last night. I'll never use that. I will never use that.
I don't even know what it is. I just hear kids say, I don't even know what it means.
I'm a professional glazer. I don't know. I'm not sure if I know that one.
I don't know that one. I
don't know 6'7". They showed me the video clip. I still don't know what the hell.
Oh, there's a video of it?
Yeah.
I didn't know. You're a glazer.
Oh my God.
That could be something really bad. I don't even know. Here you go. I got now I gotta ask my kids when I see them after school.
Ask him. Ask Mikey what he thinks about 6'7".
6'7" and glazer.
Yeah. All right. I'll do more research on that with Jake and Ty and Zach and Chase. I'll report back. But
let us know. Keep us informed. We gotta be more hip.
I know. I don't remember us having all these terms when we were in our 20s. Did we have terms? I don't remember.
I don't think we had like glazer and 6'7" and stuff. I don't think we had that kind of stuff.
Ooh-wee. All right, kid. I love you.
Best person somebody tries to insult you, you have no idea what it is, so it turns into a joke. We appreciate whoever said that. That was good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. See you, babe. Have a good week.
All right, man.